Alrighty. Welcome back to Kamen Rider Review, episode number 5. This reviewing episodes 14 to 17. Yep, the series is back. First time in exactly 1 month. Yeah, slightly longer than Super Sentai, but it's back now. And we're back for a little while before I take a break again for this one. I'll take a little break when I get a chance to reach the amount of episode I want to get to, and then I'll start up watching Shurikenger. Now, this one we got two-parters to basically discuss these two. Yes. Now, there are two monsters who show up in these two episodes. Yes. Seriously. Yes. And the two monsters are... trying to find the correct one here. No, not that one. Here we go. Yep, Sabaguron and Patras. Now, episode 14 starts off with the Saboteur one, where he has just taken out a dam in Mexico, and it's also revealed that Shocker has conquered 90% of Mexico. This is 1971. He says, oh yeah, we controlled 90% of Mexico. He's like, oh, I'm pretty much almost done here. And then he's called by Shocker to go to Japan because they're having difficulty dealing with Kamen Rider and take over Japan. Okay, so his job, destroy a dam, cause damage to a city, and begin the conquest of Japan. That's pretty much what Shocker does. By the way, where is the original Kamen Rider? Hyogo? Well, here's the thing with the original Kamen Rider. He is out of the country. Yes. They revealed that he is... This is, let me see if I can try and find here. Hongo. Yes. They revealed that he has left the country. He is off in Europe fighting Shocker there. And it's also revealed that Riko, the woman who's the daughter of the Professor Reskin back in episode 1, she has gone with them. And episode 14 was the last time she was ever mentioned in the franchise. Aside appearing a couple episodes of stock footage and like later on, this is the last time you hear about her because she's never mentioned ever again. Even when Hongo comes back, he basically does not bring up what happens to her. No, she just goes with him to Europe. And apparently he's left behind his motorcycle for some reason. Yeah, they don't give a reason why he did that. Maybe he had a different motorcycle he used when he went to Europe. So we have a brand new Kamen Rider. And his name is... Hayato Imadoji. Yes. Hayato, that's his name. He is technically the second ever Kamen Rider. He replaces the original Kamen Rider. Now, his outfit... This is his attire. It's a slight update from the original attire. Like, there's more black here, and there's a little more green. It doesn't look like he's wearing armor. It looks like he's wearing spandex. Also, his boots a different color this time. And I think he might be either shorter or taller than the original one. Now, the thing with Hago, he had two careers. He was basically a scientist and he was a motorcycle driver. He was basically a motorcycle driver. He was a racer too. In the case of Hayato, he is basically a freelance photographer. Now, they do explain he went through the same thing Hayato went through. Well, Hugo went through. They don't show it, but apparently off screen, the original Kamen Rider rescued him from Shocker, and he's taken over as a new Shocker. The two supporting characters, one of whom happened to be the guy who is the boss, who is basically Hayato's boss, who, by the way, still appears up until the 5th one. Yes, his name is... Tabitata, yes, he is pretty much he's pretty much here. Yeah, he pretty much is retained as well the ally, and Taki is basically well. He pretty much in the way is retained also as an ally too, and he was just actually introduced just prior to the original Kamen Rider leaving. Yeah, just a few episodes prior to it. As now, they also introduced the Taba Racing Club. which they introduces in episode 14. And they introduce these people in episode 14 who join the group. Yeah, Mare, Yui, Michigo, and Garo. Yeah, in the case of the first three, they just joined us per the figure, and of course, the child had to be taught ride motorcycles. So, as for the first monster's plan, well, they also have him face, well, we also hear the voice once again of the Great Shocker Leader. We still not going to get to his debut yet, not for a while. I have read he does make his first physical appearance in episode 34. I will discuss that when I get to it. So, basically, this is kind of a bit unusual where they started with two straight two-parters with this one. Yes, as for why in the world this is, I have no earthly idea. Though they do go back doing standalone episodes, well, for two straight, and then we're back to a two-parter again, and then for a little while we're kind of now in the case of the original set of monsters, they introduced a general, those Shocker Kaijin. Basically, these are like standalone monsters who just basically act like the boss, and people just supporting them. Now, as of this point, I am pretty much almost done with this particular era of the Shocker. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 6 left. Yep, there was exactly 6 more left to go for the original, era for the monsters the Shocker sends out. So, this guy is taken out bench plate by the end of part 2 because they kind of have where the end of part 1, he just about to confront me and the episode ends. Really? They kind of did the same thing every next episode when they have the new monsters show up. Eventually, he is stopped, and of course, basically, his plan is sorted. Next one is a bit unusual. This one basically has a mist called the Death Mist, where he plans to kill off people. They actually have 2 people be this particular monster. Yes. Now you might be asking, why the heck do they have 2 basically be this particular character? Well, because the original one died. No, not because he was killed by Kamen Rider, because apparently his body wasn't strong enough to hold the gas. They had the first test on a bus, which killed all the passengers. So they decided to find somebody with a strong body. And the person with a strong body just happens to be an actual pro wrestler. Who, when I see his physique, I'm like, yeah, that physique reminds me of a lot of pictures I've seen of the late Giant Baba. And this is the 70s. Now, in case you're curious though, do I know if the ring wrestling did look like this back in the 70s? I have honestly no idea. I've never met anybody who actually watched Japanese wrestling back in the 70s. Or at least finally, because these ropes look like they're very loose. And they could easily look like this ring kind of looks like a boxing ring converted into a wrestling ring. So we have it's where this boxer, Kanto, where he basically is undefeated champion. What division he's basically with, unknown. What wrestling company he is with, well, let's see. It's 1971. It's probably Big Japan Pro Wrestling. That's probably what it was. Well, it's not necessarily. Well, it's not New Japan. New Japan would now form it the following year, so it's not that one. So it's probably it could be All Japan, possibly. But my guess it was probably Big Japan, because that was technically the big Japanese wrestling company in Japan at that point. So if it was that one, it could have been that one. But so he wins, and we see he has a little brother, and then we see this is very similar. We see a very similar locker room we saw back in episode 13 of the series, where it's a very thin-looking locker room. Where now last time was basically a jerk sucker play in this very similar locker, very small, had lockers, and he's fighting. I think getting shot with a tranquilizer. He didn't fight off the Shocker goons for a brief period of time before he gets knocked out. We got at least got balls to back he was survive. And he says, "Oh yeah, the elephant did take up basically about 14 seconds." Like this guy managed to last for at least almost for a solid minute, while being effective with the damn thing. It could be due to all the strength training he went through. It's possible. But in the case of, they capture him and they confirm him with Cyborg. And he has a test with a bazooka. He's like, oh yeah, you're ready for your next test. Next test, have a fight with Kamen Rider. who just happened to be racing on a motorcycle. Yeah, and also the little brother's worried about the little brother of the wrestler's worried about him. So then he later resumes his wrestling career, this time under a mask, referred to as Satan Mask, and they claim he's wrestling in the United States for 10 years. It could be just kayfabe. They could be he's some undefeated champion. He's like the world ocean champion. That's what I refer to him as. I'm like, okay, where's your freaking belt, man? You claim to be the champion, and where is your belt? Because also, this is supposed to be a title match. Where's the belt? And then, of course, we have it where there was another Saint Man. Of course, they had Lobar go to the hotel where the guy's staying at. And they unmask him as like, it's not him. It's actually a trainer of the cyborgs named Hurricane Joe. Who, by the way, after this two-parter is never seen again. There was a woman named Maya appears in this one, and she is killed by the gas in the wrestling match. So then we have the Kamen Rider fight him in the wrestling match, while the other two take on the Shocker combatants. Really good fight scene here. And eventually he's able to beat him with a combination of his Rider kick and he using the Ultra Punch. And that somehow kills the monster in him and restores him back normal. This I thought was weird. But it's also technically the first time that the monster has never really officially died. And he's able to convert back normal due to some strange circumstance. As for why in the world this is, I have no idea. They don't really go into it at all. And the guy's never seen it again after this. But as for the return for this particular era so far, it's pretty good. My only downside of this thing is that we don't see enough of the second Kamen Rider. We don't see him a lot out of the suit. The original saw him a lot. He had good facials, and he was a pretty interesting character. This guy, not much to him so far, even though I'm only 4 episodes in. I kind of wish he should get a little more screen time. I mean, I do appreciate, though, that the kid got a good amount of character development. But I kind of figured, though, they should give a little more screen time to the second Kamen Rider. Because it seems like they're treating him the similar way they treated the original Kamen Rider during his departure, where they barely feature him. And I think that's kind of a dumb thing to do. But we'll find out more when it comes to later on episodes, okay? So yeah, that's a particular review. Stay tuned later on for my review for Comic Con, and maybe I might get time to do another Kamen Rider, okay? Next video. Bye.